What's up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm at a train station and I'm on my way to Kingston to review the Surface Laptop 7. It's currently 1 p.m. and the Surface is at 100% battery. Over the next 24 hours, we're going to see how the performance is, how the battery life is, and how the computer is as a daily driver in general. This is actually my first time riding the Via Rail, so let's go. And while I wait for the train, let's take a look at the design. And by the way, I've got the base model of the Surface since I think that's the one most people will get because of its price. Anyways, it's got a nice full metal design that feels very quality. The hinge is great, it's got a great Force Touch trackpad similar to MacBooks, and a decent feeling keyboard as well. You can tell everything is built really well. It's also got two USB-Cs, a headphone jack, Surface charger, and a normal USB. Decent port selection, but all in all great premium build quality, which is to be expected for its price. So I have about an hour left until I reach my stop, and what better way to spend that time than to edit my own video. So this is actually going to test the performance a lot and the battery life. So after an hour's worth of editing, I'll let you know how it goes. We've made it to Kingston. Yo, it was nice. Pretty good experience, I'm not gonna lie. Right, I'm actually at the Kingston station now. Just heading out. Is this the door? This is the door. Since I have to wait for my ride, let me just tell you how the train ride and performance went. So basically, this is my first time riding on the Via Rail, and it was actually really fun. It gave me plane vibes because of the interior and the overhead and everything like that. It was actually really nice. Now for the laptop, I edited for around an hour and ended with 84% of battery, which I gotta say is pretty good considering my old gaming laptop would probably be like at 60, maybe 50% of battery with the same amount of editing. Because of course 4K editing on a laptop is pretty intensive, especially on a form factor like this. So safe to say, so far I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm at my friend's house. Gonna probably take some relaxation time and then test out the laptop a little more. And probably get food. I'm hungry. Okay, so it's 5:45 and I'm craving Detroit style pizza. So I thought, what better way than to ask Copilot where the best pizza places that serve Detroit style pizza in Kingston are. And just like that, it's giving me 5 places local to Kingston that serve Detroit-style pizza. See, this is where I think AI is useful, assisting you and making your life easier, so long as it's not interfering with your privacy. One of the biggest concerns these Copilot PCs have is with their recall feature. The feature that takes a screenshot of what you're doing every few seconds all the time, so that you can recall and see what you've done a year ago. But of course, people have their concerns with privacy since they don't want their info always being recorded. Luckily, Microsoft heard the concerns, and so they haven't released recall yet, which is why I don't have it to test out on this PC. And I'm honestly fine with that, because AI to me is just there to help make things easier and do things that I don't want to do myself. So as long as it doesn't interfere with my privacy, I'm good. But speaking of AI, this computer literally has its own processing unit for AI. It's called the NPU, and just like your CPU and GPU, for central processing and for graphics, this is the neural one for AI. So if you see yourself using AI a lot, this NPU is going to free the tasks away from the CPU and GPU so that your experience is smooth. And just speaking of smooth, that just reminded me of how smooth this computer feels because of its 120Hz display, which by the way, looks great, and I'll get into the display a little bit later, but so far so good. Anyways, now we are going to get that pizza I was talking about. Let's go. Alright, so with an update, it is currently 8 p.m. and the laptop is at 68% of battery, which is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. My razor blade would have probably been dead by now. Anyways, we got the pizza and ate it while watching some SpongeBob, of course, and I just gotta say that the speakers are pretty good. They get decently loud and sound fairly good. I think that's everything for tonight though, because I'm really tired, so I'll see you guys in the morning and we'll do a battery update then as well. Alright, so it is the next day and I'm currently walking to Tim Hortons. So the battery for the laptop didn't really drain too much overnight, but as soon as I started downloading some games to test later, it dropped like 54%. And that kind of sucks because it had an impact on the amount that I could use. But after that, I did a little bit of work for about 40 minutes or so, which drained the battery a little bit more. So currently we're around 45% of battery left. So let's see how much it lasts the rest of the day with some gaming as well. Alright, so we just finished off at Tim Hortons, and I had to get an iced coffee. It's a classic, you just have to get it. Next up, we're probably just gonna go to some mall and just like shop around for a little bit, and then go back home, and then go watch Inside Out 2, which I'm really excited for. Now, as for the laptop, it's basically in standby mode right now, in sleep mode, so we'll see how the battery lasts, how much it drains again when it's in sleep mode. I don't think it will drain too much because overnight it didn't, so let's see. But when we do get back from the movies, I'm going to test out the gaming performance and let you know how it goes. But for now, let's go shop around for a bit. So we're on the way to the movie theater, right? And as we were driving, my back got really hot. And I was wondering like, wow, is it that hot outside? But no, it was just the heated seat was turned on. And I was like, bro, why is it on? Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, actually, I don't know. There is no point. Actually, there is. It's 12:13 and the movie technically is scheduled for 12:10. But me being me, I know there's 10 to 15 minutes of ads. So we're still on time, technically. They're playing ads, I knew it. Alright, so I'm back from the movie and here's my spoiler-free thoughts. Basically, I like the movie. It's pretty good. Just like the first one, it had moments that I related to a lot, but I feel like the whole movie in general is not for kids. It's more targeted to teens and young adults. So for that reason, I really like it because of all that it had going on. So I rate it a 9 out of 10. I also just want to add how the film is a little bit slower than the first one, which is also why I feel like little kids probably won't like it as much. But because it's slower, it deals a bit more with the actual emotion and the psychology behind teens and this growing up phase, basically. But yeah, it's a good movie. I think you should definitely watch it if you haven't, and especially if you're a young adult, teen, then you're gonna like it, or at least relate to something in it. So yeah, back to home now. Okay, I am not good at Rocket League on keyboard and mouse, but let's just see how the performance is. I'm usually used to using a controller, but let's see. Yo, I don't know what I'm doing. Yo. Oh my god. Oh, I see. So this right thing is my... I guess I do need a tutorial. No. Oh, that was so bad. Again, I'm not good at Rocket League on keyboard and mouse, but we're just looking at the performance. Oh my gosh. I do see a little bit of stuttering going on, but nothing too crazy. Oh my gosh, I forgot to jump. So we lost. Yay. So yes, I only tried to test out 2 games because 1, this is not a gaming laptop, and number 2, based on these results, the other games will be probably mostly similar. Essentially, games are playable. While it may stutter a little bit sometimes, you can still enjoy playing games on this computer, at least for the games that are supported. Okay, let's get to the battery. After gaming for half an hour, the battery dropped 15%. Over an hour, that equates to 30% of battery loss. Which is a lot because gaming is pretty heavy on the computer, but that also means that if I game for less than an hour now, this computer is dead. So all in all, it did last me a day, and if I was to compare this to my gaming laptop at home, then for sure, gaming in an hour would drop more battery percentage than this, which goes to show the efficiency of these laptops. But my computer at home can also run all the games that are out. So why don't we do this? Let's go home and summarize everything that we learned about this computer and see if you should get it. Let's go. Alright, now that I'm home, let me summarize everything you should know about this laptop as quick as I can. Starting off with the design. It's great. It's thin and light, you have a metal construction, decent port selection, haptic touchpad, it feels very premium, and overall I give it an A. Alright, so this is the video quality on the webcam of the Surface laptop, and as well as the audio that you're hearing right from the laptop. Next up, we have the display. The taller aspect ratio is a win, the smooth 120Hz is also a win, and the colors look great for the average person. It's also a touchscreen, so bonus points there even though I don't really use it. Now it's not as bright outside as I want it to be, but it's definitely still viewable, so overall I give it an A-. Alright, let's talk about performance. For those who want benchmarks, here they are on Cinebench as well as Geekbench. But if we look at real world use, there's 2 sides to this performance. The battery side, like you've seen this whole video, and as well as the plugged in side. On battery, it's good. It can handle 4K video editing that's simple, like not too many layers or effects, and at the same time, you saw it does well in lighter games like Rocket League. And while it's plugged in, everything just becomes a little bit better. So like video editing, the playback becomes smoother, and then when you look at video games, any stuttering that was going on battery just goes away. But one thing you have to remember is that this is the base model, the cheapest, so the performance is not going to be as good as the X Elite chip you can get if you go up in price. And it's also a thin and light laptop, so the target is people that want light usage on the go. Office documents, emails, browsing the internet, etc. Which is why it's also impressive that it can handle a little bit more demanding tasks like gaming and video editing if you needed to. Now obviously I wouldn't recommend something like 3D animation or heavy video editing, but for something I could take anywhere, I give it an A. Okay, next up is the battery. It was literally the best battery life I've personally used on a Windows laptop ever, by far. You've seen this whole video. I did everything from casual use to gaming, and it actually lasted me more than the 24-hour day that I had set. Now unfortunately, I forgot to write down the exact screen on time that I got, but if you use it for casual use, office work, as a student, etc., then I see it lasting much longer than it did for me. Something like 10 to 12 hours is probably what you'd expect, more or less depending on what you're doing. So naturally, I'd give the battery life for this Windows laptop an A+. It's the best that I've seen, and I hope it gets better. Now lastly, I have to touch on AI and compatibility. AI, as you know, is very useful, and the addition of an NPU in this laptop is a good thing, so it takes out stress from the CPU. Now I'm not gonna give this a grade because I don't have all the info, honestly. Remember that recall feature that's being delayed because of privacy concerns? Well, it's still not out yet, and I don't know what they're gonna do with it. So you can probably assume that if they fix the concerns, it would get a higher grade from me, but if they're still there, it'll be lower. Okay, finally, compatibility. As it stands right now, not every app is supported. The Surface Laptop 7 is fundamentally designed differently from all the other laptops you're used to, so naturally, there will be compatibility issues in the beginning. As you saw earlier, not all games will run, and in fact, my main video editing software, Premiere Pro, isn't even available until later this year, so I had to use DaVinci Resolve, which is also pretty good. But look, if you're using it as a student or in the office or with light use, I don't think this is going to be an issue for you. All the essentials and basic apps are already compatible, and with more support coming soon, I give it a B. So the question remains, should you get this laptop? Well, for almost 1,500 Canadian dollars, it's not for everyone. I hope that the tech and efficiency of these new laptops comes down to cheaper ones. But for now, if you're already in the market for something around this range and you're looking at MacBook Airs and thin and lights, it's a no-brainer. I mean, for most people, this is going to be way more efficient than most of the other Windows laptops on the market. If you couldn't tell, I really like this laptop, and I think you will as well. And just like that, if you like this video, then hit like, and if you loved it, then subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.